Hello and welcome. Welcome back. I told you I was gonna do another stream in a very short while, and so I did. Today actually, it's not yet. As you can see, we're taking it to classic game, Gran Turismo 3 on the PS2. The car we'll be driving today is this monstrosity, which is counted as a turbo in this game, even though it really isn't. It says turbo, but it's not. The real one's not a turbo. It's a naturally aspirated four-rotor rotary engine. What the race we're going to be doing today is going to take us a while. It's the Grand Valley 300 kilometers, which, as you can tell, is 300 kilometers long. But before we go in there, we must buy tires. Not this one, not these ones, this one, these ones. Mediums aren't gonna cut it. We're going with T2 medium composite. These are basically like the hardy hards. Because these are way too fucking hard. We don't need them. That being said, now that we have the correct tires on, we can get started. That being said, I'm pretty sure the game audio is extremely loud, so I'll have to mess with it a little in here. Can I make it 16:9? No, it doesn't actually. If I leave it on 4:3, it's better. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah, for some reason the... Oh, this is like for wheels. It doesn't make a difference for the controller. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I can't lower it, so I'm gonna go low. Yeah, this should do it. I'm not gonna complain about it too much. First, let me load the settings, change parts. What we have to change is tires. Our tires are they on the? Oh yeah, they're on the harder compound tire, so we can use it. What else was I gonna do? These are all fine. Where's the driver aids? Yeah, this I gotta take down all the way. Thanks, but no thanks. DCS, I'm gonna leave it free. Actually, I'm gonna leave it at 4, because this thing... Oh yeah, because I have to... I'm gonna leave it at 4. Limited... I'm pretty sure the gearing is correct for a track like this. But what I'm gonna do is add a bit more... Where's the downforce? Yeah, I'm gonna add a bit more wing. Because this doesn't have such a long rear. Where's my... And also the suspension. I swear I'm gonna be done with this. I swear. Let's increase the rake a little. Let's add some more rake. Lower the car a little and add some more rake. And since we lowered the suspension, let's make the springs a bit harder as well. Actually, no, leave the springs as is. Brake balance. Let's put some more at the front. Too much rear balance is bad for your health. Everything is loaded. So in a few seconds, we'll be able to just take it on. I'm not gonna bother qualifying because all the cars in this race are Japanese Grand Touring Car Championship cars. I'm much faster than. Let's just drive. Oh, it's a running start, so what gives? And I'm already ahead of all of them before the auto drive-ins. How many laps? 60? Damn. And the car has no grip, as should be expected. Jeez, I'm still way too sure this thing's way too fucking loud. I'm gonna lower the volume on it a little. Here should do. Where's it? Audio. Let's put it at like 45. That should do it. Way too Way too loud. Yeah, it's gonna be loud regardless. It's a fucking race car, so yeah. It's gonna be 60 laps. So and we're gonna take the lead relatively quick, so once I am in the lead, we're gonna start talking about random stuff. Let's pass this guy. Speaking of this guy, did you guys see the new Gran Turismo 7 trailer? That guy's in it. The Pennzoil's XL GTR. Lower the gears, idiot. Whoa! Yeah, I'm pretty sure all these guys are running medium tires, so they have much more grip than I have at this stage. But they're gonna have to pit more often. And since this game doesn't have fuel, tires are basically the only thing that limits you in terms of how long you can run per stint. If this was Gran Turismo 4, I'd had to worry about fuel as well, not just tire life. But since it isn't, we can just, you know, not bother. I'm pretty sure the rake angle I added is helping me out here. This corner in Gran Turismo 4 is reprofiled so that it can take it flat. In this game, nah, not possible. But yeah, now that I'm in the lead and I don't plan on relinquishing it, we can talk about stuff. So yeah, how do you guys feel about 7? I'm pretty sure everyone was pretty hyped for it regardless because, you know, they showed Trial Mountain and the menu is a big throwback to the classics, but it's kind of hard not to be hyped about the classics, but a game that looks so much like those games that we played as kids. Whoa, easy there. I hope we get to see this track in that game as well, Grand Valley. We haven't had Grand Valley ever since 6, and while there's only been 2 games ever since 6, it kind of feels like it's been an eternity. Doesn't it feel like that? Because like 6 came out in what, 2013? 2014? I forgot when it was. I know I snagged it first day. But like, it's been a while. And we've missed like places like Grand Valley and Trial Mountain and Midfield. And actually not Midfield, yeah. I was gonna say not Midfield because I don't like it, but I know there's a lot of people that like Midfield, so yeah. Midfield 2. It's been a while. Yep, there's the tires getting in the window. A lot of sliding because I turned off ASM because sliding in this game actually makes me go faster. Just a quirk of old Gran Turismo games. The handling model is kind of weird. Especially this one. This one's very, very weird when it comes to that. Where am I going? Catch that slide, and there we go. Much easier. The thing with the 787, especially in this game, is that it doesn't feel as planted as the 787 in other games. 787 in 4 is one of the most, like, it's not as fast in a straight line because it actually has the correct power plant that isn't a turbo, and you can't turbo it. But it's not as fast in a straight line as, say, the Toyota 88CV or the Nissan R92, which are darts. This thing in this game, it feels, I don't know, it feels weird. It feels more like what the Sauber did in 4, where it's like it does everything well enough. It has like good cornering and good top speed, but it's kind of twitchy, which it's never been the thing for the 787. Also, I swear, if I knew that I wasn't gonna be racing prototypes in this, I wouldn't have brought a prototype. I really wouldn't have. I know old Gran Turismo AI tends to be kind of slow, but I'm not helping myself out by driving a car that's straight up a different beast than those Super GTs in the back. That being said, I love the tire model on these older games. The tires feel like what they should. They have a window, and once you're in that window, the car starts going much faster. You get much more confidence. Like here, for example, in lap 1, I wasn't taking this flat. I would have to brake here, but now that the tires are in the window, I can just log it through. Just small lift, and just yam it through there, no problem. That part of the track also got reprofiled between 3 and 4, and later 5 and 6, where that track was also in. They made that more flat. It's like the undulation in this track in this game is absurd. It's a bit too extreme. So they made it a little flatter to make up for it. I wonder if they're gonna reprofile this if it's added in 7, because I know they reprofiled Trial Mountain. They made the straight longer, and they changed the final chicane so you can't just fly straight across it, which is always sad. But I guess that like now GT became more serious as time went on, so you can't just cut straight through chicanes if you don't feel like driving through them. Yeah, now I have the grip. These are good race tires, I gotta say. I don't feel like I'm missing the grip. These feel like good tires to drive on. I'm braking way too deep into the first corner. Technically it's the second. The first is like a kink that leads to this one. I should brake earlier. I forget that I'm not driving an F1 car. Where I would brake. Actually, I forgot how you get the F1 cars in this game. I know there's... Oh, whoa. I know there's a few. And by a few, I mean there's a lot of them. I forgot how you get them. I assume you should get some by doing the endurance races, but... And I'm doing this one, so I guess we'll find out once we finish it. It's gonna be really fun after like 2 hours and change once I'm done with this track. Then I go to the fucking roulette that is the game, how this game decides what prize cars you get, and all of a sudden, hello, it's the pink Vits. If it's the pink Vits, I'm just gonna go mute. You know it was the pink Vits because I'm just gonna close the stream on the spot. See, that's where tire grip comes into play. That was like a lot of trust in the tires that I had to for that corner. Yeah, I still can't take that one flat. This car just doesn't have enough downforce. It's not the F1s. The F1s can take that flat. This one can't. Especially because the turn in this game is a bit weird, and it has like it's basically a very smooth left that then turns into that low angle right that you take almost flat out. In later games, it's basically that left bend doesn't exist. Oh yeah, there we go. Took that one flat. That one you can add to the record books. In later games, that little kink to the left, that slow groove to the left doesn't exist, so it's basically just a straight left turn, straight left kink. A straight left kink. No, it's straight right kink. It's into the main straight. It's easier to take because you don't have to like turn the car around on the corner entry, and you can just have the entry be so much more planted. This bridge too, they changed it. It used to be this blue color, and nowadays, ow. you only see it in the metal, in like the bare metal. I don't mind it in either color. Let's see if I can take this thing flat. Yeah, this kink doesn't exist. And I said I was gonna take it flat, and I brake on entry. Yeah, I would not have been able to take it flat. I would have flown off into the grass. That like left droop is not there in later versions of the track. It just isn't. So it's a much smoother entry into the corner instead of tires. Sorry. Instead of having to slowly adjust to one side and then cut right to the other, which upsets the car. Ooh, nice. This is kind of the beauty about endurance racing. The more you drive, the more you learn the track, and eventually it just becomes a mechanical task to drive around. I'm running awful times for what this car can do, but you know, driving and streaming is not especially conducive to high pace. Especially when you're talking all the time, as I am kind of guilty of. But also, I don't need full pace. It's kind of just a full pace in this thing is basically just begging for mistakes, because I'm driving against competition that's much weaker, and even if I wasn't level ground, I'm faster than the AI by a lot. So I would have been able to just take a leisurely drive. Ooh. This turn is treacherous because you can't tell where a good braking point is. It just doesn't have one. And just as I said, I landed into a wall. Focus on the driving. And yeah, went too far wide. Tires are starting to go off a little. They're on yellow still, which means they still have grip, but not as much as they had before. Yeah, that was a bad lap. Extrapolating from my previous times, I think this race should last about 2 hours. A bit more actually, 2.5. Because there's going to be pit stops. Not every lap is going to be as fast as this one was. Or, not this one. Oh, damn it. Yeah, I definitely can't do what I was doing in previous laps. I have to adjust a little. That's another thing you have to take into account when endurance racing: tire wear. I haven't driven this car too much in this game at all. Just not a car I usually go for, but in this save it's the only one I have. And the pit stop stages have already begun. Yeah, I figured everyone in the front of the field was using medium tires. I didn't expect them to have to start pitting now though. It's too early. Ooh. I'm basically gonna start using that Epson board as the braking point for this corner. Nice. Yeah, if I keep hovering around these lap times, I should take around an hour and something, almost 2 hours to finish the race. But it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that fast. The pit stop laps are gonna count against, obviously. And those are gonna be basically what determines how long I take. The in laps, not laps, and how many of those I make. That was tricky. Don't do that. Especially not in a car like this. It should have spun on me there because I touched the gravel. But for some reason I managed to hold it in. That hairpin is such like a point that does not conduce you to overtaking at all. Because sure, it's a big braking zone, but in cars that have a lot of aero, you're just stuck in the dirty air for high-speed S's, and you have to back off because you can't do the S's as fast as the car in front. And you wouldn't be close enough to use the braking zone anyway, so you kind of only have one overtaking spot the whole lap, and it's the lead up to turn 2. I'm calling it turn 2. There's no official numbering, because turn 1 is that slow, droopy left-hand kick that takes you to the hairpin, which I call turn 2. And usually I wouldn't call that a turn, but people in Austria call that lazy left hang on the second straight a turn, so might as well just call that one a turn as well. I can start to feel the fronts going a little. I think at the 80-meter board at the 80-meter mark for turn 2 is where I wanna start braking. Yeah, let's just try and drive a little more smoothly. I know I'm basically about to lap the 6th place car. In fact, you could hear it. You could hear him around that corner, but let's try and drive a little smoothly. Just for pride points, I don't like going all the way around, just being sloppy all around. I prefer driving in a clean way. There we go. Ooh, yeah. Let's not try pushing the envelope that much when I'm on old used tires. Let's just not. And just as I say it, I push the envelope. And even though I'm making all these dumb mistakes, I can already see the last place guy in front of me. I'm pretty sure that with those slower cars full of aero, you can probably just brake at when the curbs start at that hairpin, and it should be fine. But for this thing, it has too much power and too much speed, so you have to brake earlier. It doesn't have as much downforce, which is kind of weird to think of. Basically, the only reason why I'm faster than these guys on the around corners isn't because they're. Thanks for that, by the way. Isn't because I have more downforce than they do. Because I'm lighter. They had those Japan Grand Touring Car Championship cars have way more downforce than this thing does. I mean, I guess it's because Group C's don't have like as much downforce, period, because they're supposed to drive at Le Mans, where, well, I mean, half the track is a goddamn straight, so you don't really want all the aero. You just want the top speed and a modicum of stability, so you don't really load the car up on aero that much. And as a result, yeah, you get like absurd straight line speed like this. I might be wrong, but it honestly feels like that. It honestly feels like those touring cars have much more downforce pound per pound than this thing does, and it basically just gets away with the high cornering speeds by being lighter. Lighter and lower to the ground as well. Just more aero efficient, period. So they have two NSXs, I think, the Castro and the Epson. Is that an Epson? Is the blue one? No, it's the Ray Brig. The Epson is a much later. It's a much later NSX, not in this game. And the Denso Sard Supra. I guess the car they want you to enter in this race is the Castro Tom Supra, but I don't have that one. I forgot where you unlock it if you do at all. Oh, whatever. I'm already in this thing, and I'm already past the 6th mark. We've already gone through 20% of the race. I'm not stopping now. I guess it's gonna be like a good idea to check how many stops I'm gonna need for this race, because I feel like I can take it on a 2-stop. The tire wear has been very good. I mean, very good as in I haven't been struggling too much for grip. I haven't been, as I say that, I go off the track. I haven't been struggling too much for grip. The car isn't entirely out of control just yet. I'm gonna wait until both front tires are orange, and then I'll go change them. Weird that in this game the front tires wear out more. In Ford, the rear tires wear out a lot more. To the point that what I usually do with prototypes in that game is that I use super hards at the rear and hards at the front, so that the tire wear matches. So I have to, and then I can change both tires at the same pit stop without wasting the prime of one or the other. I guess just the way they tweak, because Free is GT Free, as much as people love it, and I do too, is a very incomplete game. 4 is what Free was supposed to be, and 4 is a great game. 4 to me is still the best game in the series, and that it'll take a substantial amount to dethrone it, and even then it's going to be because they did what 4 did. So I guess in a sense 4 will be the greatest in every way possible until the end. I'm sorry, did I say 2-stop? Nah, no way this is a 2-stop. I just now realized how far off we are. A 2-stop, whoa, easy. A 2-stop would be if I was still on good tire condition and it was like lap 25 now, then it would be a 2-stop. Nah, this is like a 4 or 5-stop easily. These tires don't have much left in them. Yeah, I can't run another full stint like this on these same tires, which I would have to in order to. Oh hey, the Ray Brig took the lead. Oh come on, classic Gran Turismo AI. They always fail to recognize that you exist. They basically drive as if no one else is there. Which is weird because they race each other respectfully, but when it comes to you, the player, they just don't give a shit. It was like this until like Sport. Sport is the first game where the AI knows, like, respects you. Wait, is this not the Denso Sard? Oh yeah, it is the Denso Sard. The green on the back threw me off. I thought it was a weird Castro paint scheme, but no, the Castro is not that one. Let's put everyone a lap down. Ooh, I struggled. Yeah, the left front is starting to give way. When I say starting, I mean it's basically dead already, and I'm basically just pushing it beyond what it can take. Yeah, that guy also needs new tires. I saw that skid. Yeah, the Denso, yeah, it was a Denso Sard. The Denso just pitted in now. That's weird. You don't see that often. Maybe the Denso was on hards, I don't know. Unless it just bit it before and the game didn't tell me, which is weird because it would tell me. Why would it pit now? It makes no sound, it makes no strategical sense. That being said, I'm not so sure the AI care about strategical pit stop calls. They just drive until the tires fall off, then pit and do it again. It's kinda weird. Well, as if I was in cruise control before, now I am full on cruise control. Ooh. Yeah, now I guess I get why the front left is dying. Too many high angle right corners. The outside tire gets loaded so hard at those sorts of high speeds, so it starts giving way. Yeah, like this. Just gonna go and pit. There's no tire selection in this game, or pit cruise at all for that measure. Yeah, you just kind of enter a void space and your tires get changed. You can't even select new compounds, so we basically start with the ones that... You basically have to finish the race on the compound you started with, which is not like 4. You can change them. And you can change them between axles as well, so you can have one tire at the front and one at the rear. Oh, the sliding, because the tires are cold. That being said, even cold, they have so much more grip than the previous set. Yeah, so basically I'm gonna pit at every 15th lap. The stints are gonna be 15 laps long. So 15, 30, 45, yeah, basically a free stop. Since I'm not gonna be stopping on lap 60. Yeah, it's at least a free stop. I assume that basically using these tires is the best choice because with mediums I think I'd be stopping every 12th lap, which would basically mean an extra stop. And for not that big of an advantage. Whereas with these hards, or slicks as the game called them, all of them are slicks. With these tires I can basically pull a free stop. And with the mediums, I'd basically be begging for a 5-stop because I'd be pushing the tires way too hard to try and make it to 12 laps each. Whereas with these, I can be way less cautious and still end up with just 3 stops. Technically 4, but I'm gonna be stretching the last one so I don't have to stop on the final lap. And we're gonna break the half an hour mark on this lap. So much confidence in these new tires. And getting out on the corner, getting on the power basically sideways and the car just catches itself. Big missed apex. I don't think anyone's ever made the apex on that turn. It's so weird. It's basically the widest turn possible. There's no real way to get to the apex there. You can just kind of miss it and go for a super late apex or a wide apex to get much more top speed out of the corner. Which is kind of true of most of Grand Valley's corners. They're not really made for quick short apex, like this one for example, these two. What you want is like basically go late in this one so that you can get early on this one, and then you push all the way out easy because you need all the power you can get out of this one. Now that I have confidence, can I try it? Yeah, no way you can take this turn flat with this car at all. It's just not possible. All right, let's try for a fastest lap. I know my top end's already fucked, but let's try for a fastest lap. Try too hard. Next lap for sure. I'll try for a fastest lap. Yes, I know, game. You don't need to tell me that. Yeah, let's go for fastest lap. Dies immediately. Sasuga. There's the bad timing. Yeah, I shifted up too early. Should have left it on 4th throughout the S's and then geared into 5th as soon as I was out of them. To use some of that so get some better turn in. Have a better angle. I was gonna say use engine braking, but you're not using engine braking on a turn that wide anyway. Okay, let's just drift around the corner. That's also usable. You can also do that. Alright, now for the fastest lap attempt. And I promise I won't bend it in the first corner. I said I wouldn't, and I didn't. Just drift out of the corner, drift out of the corner. Now I keep it in 4th. Keep it in 4th. Once you've cleared this one, you put it into 5th. Wait until the 80 meters around or so, and then you start braking. Power, power, power. Don't let the back end go too loose. And then for this one, you basically go up to 4th just so that the engine doesn't hit the rev limiter, and then back to 3rd. Always keep it on the curbs. Same here. You can put it into 2nd, but I wouldn't. And then here you brake hard, shift it into 2nd, try and get the better exit, best exit as you can. You should have apexed earlier there. But honestly, that turn's so wide that any apex works really. Any sort of line is okay in there. For these ones, these are basically large sustained radius corners, so you want stable throttle application. Though with a car like this, with this much grip, you can just pin it and modulate it with slight jabs of it to keep the car stable and turning. Same for this one. Keep it in 3rd so you get some better turn in. Once you get to the Epson sign, shove it on the brakes, drop it to 2nd gear. Don't upshift here because it's another sharp turn. Keep it way close. Early on the power as soon as you can. Now for this one, usually in a Formula car, you wouldn't have to brake or lift for this one, but you should be worried about taking that at a bit of a wider angle and almost a fast lap. If it wasn't for that last corner, it would have been a fast lap. And I paid too little attention to where I was going. One thing I have realized is that this game doesn't know what being a lap down is, because the timing screens aren't showing the rival cars anymore. I did the thing I said you're not supposed to and shifted up into 4th. Shifted up out of 4th in that S section. Jesus, easy there, dude. I gotta say, GT3's driving model, I'm not a particular fan of. I much prefer Forest because it's much more understeery. But this game's a bunch of fun, regardless. Basically, without this game, 4 wouldn't have existed, so 4 kind of owes its brilliance to the errors that this game made. I wouldn't say errors, but more like the design choices that no one could have known wouldn't be optimum until they tried it. And if there is one company, one developer and company that can and has the reputation to try and do whatever they want with their games, it's Polyphony Digital, because they always deliver a good product. At worst, a Gran Turismo game is good, and that's like a good bar to stand on. I think you guys could have seen some of the rake action in there, since I made the front lower than the rear. And the rear has much more downforce production capabilities with the extra rear wing I put on. The rear of the car squats down at high speeds, but not to the point where it's scraping, so I get more top speed. And it's better for like high-speed cornering as well. Though I'm not sure if this game models it, and if it does, it definitely doesn't model it under these high curves and elevation and whatnot. But that's a good tip, just like for rake. Never make your car the same height or with negative rake. Usually you get better if you make the rear a bit higher than the front, especially if cars in cars with diffusers like this one. Those big openings on the rear of the car, that's called a diffuser. And with cars with diffusers, it's always good to put a healthy amount of rake in. Not too much if you don't want, not too little. The downside is that usually higher rake cars tend to be a bit more unstable at low speed corners and unstable in general. But you get much more peak downforce because the area in which the air is going under the car is much bigger because of the change in ride height. Whereas for low rake car, have more consistent levels of downforce, but there's less to go around. Ow! I forgot that bar was poking out. Oh, that hurt. Oh, hey, I just did a fast lap without noticing. Maybe I shouldn't announce that I'm going for fastest lap. 143.999. That's cool. But yeah, the whole high rake versus low rake thing is the Mercedes versus Red Bull conundrum in Formula 1. Because Mercedes has always used a lower rake design, and Red Bull's always gone for higher rake with other teams such as Ferrari in the middle. Not too low, not too high, just like using the better characteristics of both. And what Red Bull has done is basically make their car much shorter. Like the wheelbase is shorter, the car itself is also shorter, so that they can take advantage of the shortness of their car to make it more agile in low speed corners, to offset that weakness that the high rake has at low speed corners. And when it comes to high speed, they just let downforce do the trick. Whereas Mercedes is the opposite; they make their car very long, so that they can kind of offset the lower angle on the rear suspension with just more length to work as the area where the air goes under the car. I'm not one to say which is best, and I guess there's like a convergence point. But the battle for the championship this year has been pretty close, and I'd assume that even though the floor cuts that are the new rules for this year seem to have hurt the low rake cars more, before I think it was kind of balanced. You could have struck a balance. Of course, all of that's gonna no longer be a problem come next year because we're going for ground effect. In ground effect, you always want the lowest rake as possible because you want those Venturi tunnels to work. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. This year's championship is also very fun because finally we have a a proper fight, you know. It's not that gentlemanly, one guy wins one race and the other guy wins the other race, and it's basically like a championship to see who wins more races uncontested than the next guy. We have on-track battles, we have drama, we have rivals crashing, and that sort of thing leads to better results elsewhere down the field, because if the front-running teams are too busy beating and banging on each other, like the teams that aren't spacey, such as Ferrari and McLaren and Alpine, who's won a race this year as well, they can also get their pickings. Next stop should be on lap 30. One thing I don't like about those games is always the camera. It's a bit too loose. You can't really see ahead. You can kind of see it at the end of the street where the car just starts squatting down on that rear diffuser. The shadow doesn't help it because the shadow is black and the car is the diffuser is black, so you can't really see it, but it's visible if you squint. You can see the car like squat down under the downforce at top speed. I guess it's also another advantage of having high rake, which is you can kind of, especially in these like Group C's and mid to late 80s and early 90s F1 cars, that high rake lets you scrape the bottom of the car less, so you lose less time on the straights by scraping. I know it's like a minimum amount of time that you lose on the straights by scraping, but it's still some time that you're losing, and you don't ever want to lose time. Oh, these fucking UTRs are getting destroyed. Why are they so slow? Earlier I called those boards over that other corner Epson boards. Are they Epsons? Am I talking out of my ass? I'm gonna have to pay attention next time I go through there. I don't think they're Epson. I may have just seen stuff. Maybe they're just like distance boards. And I just thought, oh hey, it's Epson. Because I haven't seen any other Epson signs anywhere in this game, and it would be really weird if only that corner and that corner in specific had Epson signs. Yeah, they're not Epson logos. I'm talking out of my ass. Why did I think those were Epson logos? This is because I saw the blue NSX, and the first thing that came to mind was, oh, Epson. I have prayer on the brain. Oh yeah, those are just like distance signs. They're not even like... They're not even ad boards, they're just regular ass brake distance markers. Epson, what the fuck am I on about? Oh, now we know. Oh, I thought I was gonna go for a fast lap there. Almost did. By sheer total accident. Easy there, dude. There goes the Pennzoil. 4 more laps until the pit lap. Until halfway, actually. I gotta say though, not having a populated chat really ruins these sorts of things. Not ruins, but like it makes it less enjoyable. Because the beauty of having such long races is that you can kind of have a long conversation and chit-chat and whatnot. Talk about whatever you want. And when it's basically you and yourself, you kind of have to make up topics on the fly, and it gets really weird. Because not only do you have to make topics on the fly to pretty much no one, it distracts you from racing, especially if the racing is close, which this isn't. But if it was, I would be oh shit, I would be hard pressed for doing both. Weird how the antennas on top of the 787 don't actually move in the same way the car goes. They're just kind of there. Yeah, you kind of have to start at somewhere, and if the start point is at 0, then so be it. You can't demand an audience, you have to capture it. Yikes. How did I just make that entire turn basically sideways? Jesus Christ, Mazda. I'm gonna lap the lead back again. Thanks, by the way, for not letting me hit that apex. Ow, 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 ow. He's gonna drive me off the road. He drove me off the road. What the hell, dude? Chill. I have to be more careful around these long sweepers because I no longer have the tire grip to take them pinned. He's gonna drive me off the road again. He would have if I didn't lift out of there. Again, the AI just don't realize you exist. They basically drive as if you're not there. Actually, no, my mistake. In 5 and 6, the AI already knew you were there because they drove a bit differently. You could kind of bait the AI into not braking for super hard turns and just watch them fly out of the road at 200 miles an hour. It was fun, in a morbid sense. No drifting this time, just a casual off. Yeah, let me just try and elongate third gear into this corner so I don't have to just downshift. I don't have the gears fine-tuned for this course, I just basically left on the default setup, assuming it would be good enough. And it is, but if I were actually trying to min-max results and go for maximum lap time, I'd spend days just tuning the gear ratios. Messing with the suspension. It's the sort of thing that Gran Turismo games in general let you do. You can min-max a lot. The setups are like, they're super duper extensive, but they're not so complicated that you can't figure it out by some trial and error. This isn't like Assetto Corsa, in which you have a billion settings for everything, and unless you know what you're doing, your car just becomes undrivable. No, this game lets you trial and error some things. It doesn't ever make your car entirely undrivable. Unless you intend on making it undrivable, in which case that's your problem. Oh yeah, Front tires don't want to take that straight at top speed anymore. They just don't. Going too deep because the front tires are cooked, but it's fine. Yeah, the SARD apparently pits every 14th lap, which is kind of a weird... It's kind of a weird pattern to pit on a race that has 60 laps, because you're gonna end up pitting with 4 to go. Would make much more sense to stretch your stint by at least 1 lap. So that you can not stop in the final section. That would basically give the... That's gonna get... Eventually, if that's the way it's gonna go, the Supra is gonna give the win to the Blue NSX. That's gonna be it. Unless the Blue NSX isn't already in 2nd place. I say the win, but basically like the class win. Everyone else but me win. Yeah, 1 more lap and I'm getting rid of these tires. I had a downshift there because the fronts are just not gripping anywhere. $148, ow. Yeah, the understeer on these corners is just unbearable now because of how worn the front left is. Let's try for a good in lap at least. As best as I can with these shot tires. And as soon as we cross the line, it'll be half the race to go. So yeah, I guess the 2-hour prediction was correct. It's gonna be around 2 hours, so I have to remember there's a few stops with a few stop laps as well. Power, and there we go. This turn is just no pace. The car just does not turn in. I basically braked all the way into that turn just to try and lose some speed, and the car still just drove out. I almost hit the grass on the exit. That's just how worn the front left is. Let's get rid of it. Oh, no, no, no. No mas, says the tire. Tire doesn't want anything else to do. Oh, you can actually accelerate inside the pit box. That's funny. Yeah, and the NSX are following my pit strategy, so they're probably the better. You're doing the correct thing. I guess they just don't have as much tire wear as the Supra and GTRs do, but they can afford to do that. Okay, cold tires my ass. This car is much faster. I guess it's because I have more confidence now than I had with the shot tires, so I'm just driving it all over the place. The one thing I never noticed is just how many sweeping right turns this track has. No wonder the front left is the tire that gets destroyed so much faster than every other one. It's the outboard tire on such long, yeah, like this and the one after this. It's the outboard tire in all of them, so it of course is gonna suffer a bit more. Wait, no, I forgot that the GTRs are like a solid 2 laps behind me. The NSXs are also 2 laps behind me. Everyone's 2 laps behind me. So no, they're stopping on lap 28, so they're the ones doing the stupid strat, not the Supra, who's doing an even dumber strat. That's what happens when you don't shift up. And there's the Nismo again. Wait, is that the Loctite? I kinda always thought the Loctite was the NSX, not the... Oh yeah, because this is 99, it's not 01. 01 is the season where the Nismo team goes from Pennzoil to Sanavi, and the Loctite sponsorship goes to the Mugen NSX team, and the Zexel car gets the Pennzoil colors. I think it's because Castro goes back to the Tom Supra as opposed to Woodun, which was the Tom Supra, Wood 1, which was the Tom Supra sponsor in, you know, in 00, in 2000. The old JDTC is the shit. I wish there were more ways to watch the classic races. The new ones are fun, but everyone knows the iconic cars of the old races. There we go, fast lap, 142. That was because I ruined this S section by cutting it, by shifting into fifth too early. I would have spun out there if this was sport because I touched the grass. Also because I was basically sideways already, and sport is much more merciless when it comes to being sideways and how much grip your tires have. Yeah, see, now the car has all the grip in the world in this turn. And around this X zone, I still can't make this turn flat. It's just not doable. I have to at least lift. And barely make it even then. Another fast lap, 142.68. I guess that's like this car's ultimate pace. I mean, at least in my hands, I'm pretty sure this thing can do constant 142s in this, and then drop into the 140s for a fastest lap attempt, but there's no point in just showing off. Unless there is. There's not even a fastest lap graph in this game. No, and when the race ends, it doesn't tell you who did the fastest lap. which I'm pretty sure Sport does. Sport does tell you who did the fastest lap. Rather, you can see who did the fastest lap. You can see everyone's fast laps, and then you just compare them by eye. $141, what the hell? I'm just going faster and faster. I went mute there for a second because I didn't realize just how fast I was going. And this thing definitely has more pace than I've been wringing out of it. Though I had no practice, and the more you drive, the more constant you get. Especially with new tires. So yeah, I guess I just got more confidence in the car and more used to the way the track handles, and that was what allowed me to unlock more pace as the race went on. That's usually the case for real races as well, though with the amount of practice that those guys put in, you're not likely to see a guy just randomly go much faster around the stint. Those sorts of things just don't happen in the world of pro racing. Oh, though it would be really cool to all of a sudden the guy starts going much faster than everyone else. Makes a lot of positions. That would be awesome. It almost never happens though, especially in the higher categories like Pro and the GTE Pro and Le Mans Hypercars or P2s. Maybe you could get some of that in like Pro-Ams on guys that are experienced drivers elsewhere but have never driven that specific car or that specific track. You might start seeing them get much more confident and much faster as the race goes on. But it's still not a spectacle I would expect to see in every race. And back to the 43s. That right there was why I shifted the brake bias much more forward. If I let it at the rear, I would have spun out entering the turn, which you don't want at all, ever, because the rear tires lock up. With the more brake bias at the front, you have much more controllable braking, which... But the thing is that you don't have as much turn-in with brake bias at the front. With brake bias at the rear, you can trail brake better and turn in. What I try to find is usually the neutral braking as possible, considering the car's engine type and weight and all that stuff. The moment I start getting too much or losing too much time in turn-in because the front tires get overloaded, then I start shifting the brake bias forward and back and trying to see what setting fits me better for this car, for this track. And that's kind of how race cars are. There's no like magic bullet. You have to keep trying, you have to keep driving, and you have to sometimes you just have to get used to the way the car is. You can't dial out oversteer on an MR2, for example. It's just what the car does. You just have to manage it, maybe use it to your advantage. Those that can use the car's limitations to their advantage are usually the best drivers. Someone who can extract the most out of what others cannot. It's easy to say, oh yeah, they won the championship 5 times in a row because they had the best car, period. And you know it's hard to win championships when you don't have the best car. But to get close even with a car that's inferior, it has to be a source of pride at least. I mean, the Mazda won Le Mans in '91 while not being the fastest car. Well, it did blow your eardrums when you drove it. One of the guys that drove it had permanent hearing damage because of this thing, which is kind of metal to think of. But yeah, I personally find it much more impressive when a guy from the midfield or the back of the pack puts a car that should not be in a position where it is. It's just much more exciting, and I think it's more telling to driver's skill than just having the best car year in and year out, and just, you know, doing the bare minimum and winning anyway. At least that's what I think. I'm sure there are people that do enjoy seeing absolute domination and one-sided stomps every race, but that's just not me. I mean, even in F1, like, people say that, oh yeah, because people complain on Mercedes today, but the Schumacher days are just bad. They were, but like, races in the Schumacher days are not comparable to the races of today because the cars had much less dirty air. You could pass the refueling strats made a difference as well, because there was a lot more possibilities of having different cars on pole because you qualified in the field where you started. There was always like one midfielder or back marker that qualified on fumes just to get that sponsor time and that statistic, just for the pride really of it. And then once the race came, they just immediately pit out and drop down to the back as they're supposed to. But they had their time in the spotlight, and that was awesome. It was just like, it was a better product in terms of like the sporting aspect of it. Today's F1, at least in my opinion, is a bit too cookie cutter clean, and there's too much like it's too exact. It's a solved sport already. Everyone knows the best tire strat. There's never like that much variation in strategies. Everyone just does the different stops, the different laps for the same strategy to work, and I don't know, I just don't like it. I just prefer the way it was before. I guess that's just me. That being said, damn, I forgot how dull these races are. I've been here for an hour. At least the race is already more than halfway done. So I won't be here for another hour. I'm at a 43. And I overturned. Is it just me, or does the car feel better on these tires than before? I think they just haven't hit the cliff yet. I'm supposed to be only 5 laps away from the pit lap. Yet these tires feel better than the ones before. Only 20 more to go, and it's been 70 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. Guess I've just been taking better care of the tires on this stint for some reason. I haven't been doing anything different, I feel like. There were those two, like, fastest laps that I did, that I pushed really hard on, yet for some reason I feel like I haven't used up the tires as much. Maybe I've just been smoother as the race goes on, and that has kind of lifted some of the pain off of the tires. But that's the thing people sometimes don't realize, is that how fast you go does not necessarily equate how much you use up your tires. There is like a fine line between going fast and not using up the tires. Just driving smoothly. Of course, you can, if you drive very smoothly and you preserve your tires, that doesn't mean you can't go any faster than that. You can also push and use the tires up when you need to. Just that for like longer stints and races like this, it's always better to have a smoother driving style that might be slightly slower than full pace, but you can eke out a lot more life from the tires than just driving pedal to the metal. Every lap is a qualifying lap every time. Easy. There we go. Jeez, what was that line, dude? Get out of there. Got to shift down as well. It's easy there. Yeah, I spoke too soon earlier. I definitely feeling the losing the grip on the front left. Just what's supposed to happen, honestly. Not to that extent, dude. No, just shift down into the final four. That's a bit too conservative. Far too conservative. Starting to think I maybe put a bit too much downforce on, but honestly, I'm getting to the top, to the end of the straight at a good speed, not having to lift out at the first turn to make that hairpin. That's fine. That's ideal, actually. So I probably set the downforce correctly for the gear settings that I had on. It's hard to do. I rarely do that by accident. It's one of the most difficult things to do, is match up your exact downforce level with your gear ratios, so you're not wasting any gearing on top end. And I just pulled it off by accident. Car setup is such like an understated part of racing games that people usually don't pay attention to, but setting up a car well was kind of the difference between languishing behind and having a car that can challenge for the win. Not to mention, if you dial out some unwanted characteristics to make a car fit your driving style better, sometimes you don't even have to change the car, you can just use that one. Interesting conundrum. Learning how to set up a car is definitely one of those things that most people don't bother learning, but when they do, it can potentialize their driving. Yeah, there's the front left going off. I can't maintain speed around that turn anymore. Oops, the upshifted too early. There we go. Managed to correct it. Turned in just in time. That turn's fucking weird. The one before this one. It feels like it's much wider angle than it actually is. You have to break a lot for it. Only 2 more laps until I can get rid of these tires. And then it's going to be the final stint all the way to the end of the race. Gonna do it. Yeah, around 190 is where we want to see the tail end there, because if you're above 200 miles an hour, 120 k's an hour into that first hairpin, you're gonna have to brake while turning left, and that's never a good thing because it unsettles the car. In a sense, dialing down some of that top speed is desirable, and I've kind of done that accidentally by increasing the rear wing a little bit too much. But hey, it works. Yeah, the front left's starting to give up. The thing is, this track is really merciless in the tire for multiple reasons. Because like on these sorts of long turns, the outboard tire, the tire outside is takes the most wear, but on tight corners, the inside tire is the one that takes the most wear, the slow corners, and most of the slow corners in this track are to the left. So it's basically a double whammy on that front left, because like this, for example, the entry is basically all on that front left. This one is on the right, but on the exit, you're pushing on the front left to get the exit done. It's just destroying that poor thing. Yeah, no way. The car just can't make that turn anymore. Yeah, because that 200, I'd have to start braking way earlier than that. I had to start braking in the middle of turning. I don't have to tell you, I mean, it's a doable strat, but when you have to turn one way and then the other quickly, it unsettles the car and it makes it unstable. You lose speed and you kind of have to lift off a little just to make sure you can make the turn. Which is why the final turn on this version of Grand Valley is so tricky, because there's that slow, dumb left-hander right there, and then we go more gradual right-handers followed by tight left-handers just to destroy that tire a bit further. Yeah, that slow, droopy left-hander on the final corner just kind of ruins the line you take in, compared to if that part of the track was as straight as it is in later games. Not a perfect straight, but it's more straight than this one is, so you can just take the corner much flatter. In Gran Turismo 6 with the X2010, that, I mean, in the X2010 most corners are flat because that thing is stupid. But in the X2010, that corner is not even a corner, it's a straight. I'm pretty sure even in this, like in this form, it would be a straight. Even if it was like this profile of the corner, it would be a straight. Let's pit in for the final time. in this 1 hour and 20-minute affair so far. Ooh. Can I go into the 140s, I wonder? My best lap is 144.4, so I'd have to 141.48, so I kinda have to take almost half a second out of that lap, which was already pretty good. I wonder if it's doable. It definitely should be, but I don't have many laps to do it, because tire wear is a thing in this race. Well, it won't be this lap for sure, because mostly because it's an out lap and the tires are cold, but also because of that massive mistake there. And this massive mistake called tire squeeze. Easy there on the brakes, boy. And there we go. Alright, let's try the final few fast lap attempts of this Grand Valley 300. 500. No, please no 500s. Yikes, and I blew it immediately. I know, gang. Nice driving, nice driving. Just the moment I said 500, I got spooked and died. These sorts of long-ass races just give me more respect for NASCAR drivers that do 500-mile races every weekend, it seems. And they always have enough energy at the end of it to just give out those long, drawn-out interviews and do the celebrations with a bunch of interviews as well. I guess it makes that NASCAR races are slightly less taxing in terms of like driver energy, because even though they're so long, the circuits are more or less simple. They're ovals, and most of the driving is basically modulating your turning angle and your throttle application. Keep speed around the corner and not necessarily figure out braking points that change every lap with and in tricky corners and whatnot, like say a Super GT racer that does those long tracks, or Formula 1 or whatever that is. That being said, ovals are much more tiring, I'd assume, in terms of like how long you're just sheer length, especially the things like the Coke 600, which take a while. And those tiny, I guess NASCAR also drives on road courses, but they don't drive 500 miles on road courses. There's like 188 or something. They're around as long as an endurance race in Gran Turismo. Okay, now let's try for the fastest lap. I think every time I say I'm gonna try for the fastest lap, I fuck up in some way. Case in fucking point there. It was a bad start to the lap, but I think we can make up for it in the proceedings. Power, power, power. I did this one in third, and then once I get here, I drop down to second. But that was a smoother exit than I thought it would be. car has so much grip. This game has too much grip in general. But like you have to enter turns with so much confidence. But the grip levels are unreal. And this is like a 787. It's not even the formulas. I don't even want to imagine what a formula is like in this game. I mean, I do. I really do. Just wonder how good the formulas would be. There's a Monaco Grand Prix in this game. The Côte d'Azur 78 lap swing, which is just the Monaco Grand Prix. Yeah, this one ain't gonna be no fastest lap. It was fast, but not fast. I'm very, very down on a second and a half slower than my actual fastest lap. I assume that the Monaco endurance race is a formula race, so I'd have to have a formula car for it. I don't know how you unlock one of those, but once I figure it out, I might as well try it. It is Monaco, so I imagine. Oh, and my oil lights come on. Oh yeah, this is a problem that this game has. The oil lasts nothing. You need oil changes in the middle of races at times, in the middle of championships. Yeah, that's the problem with the Formula Championship. You kind of you need an oil change mid-championship. Well, there goes my possible fast lap attempts, because my engine's going to be much slower from now on. Nice job, me. You should have checked what the state of the oil was. Should have changed the oil before the race, actually. Even if it wasn't in bad condition. Well, I'll have to now. I'm glad oil changes are coming back in 7 as well. There's so much stuff that Sport just overlooked. In the, like, from the classics in the name of making it a better online experience. And while it has succeeded in making it a better online experience, I'm not gonna complain about that one. It's just not what people that the old school Gran Turismo players played GT for. It was always for this sort of thing, for the car collecting, for the beating the AI, the mundane things like oil changes and whatnot. The rigidity refresher programs. Weird that even though my engine and my oil's fucked, I'm still getting the same top speeds I was before. I guess the acceleration is what's getting. I'm probably losing a lot of time in these like high speed sections because I just don't have that extra acceleration anymore. Actually, how long has that light been on? Did I just miss that? Was I just driving with that light on for a while? It probably was, because it's just a hyper focus on something that's not the instrument panel. I was probably driving with that light on for half the race, didn't realize. Oh yeah, 10 to go after this one. It'll be 9 to go after this, actually. Tires are still good. I'm not going to change them any further. It's going to take them to the end. They feel good still. Especially since I'm pacing myself more that I know I can't push any harder than I did before because of the state of the engine. I just realized there was a place to make an Apex Seals joke and I didn't. And if anyone does, I'm going to tell you. The Scarlet's engine was bulletproof as bulletproof gets. It ran for 24 hours, and it could have run for 24 more. That guy just blew his brakes out there. Me through. Thanks. Oh, where am I going? There we may have saved it. Only 9 more, boys. 9 more. Ow! I had to take my hand off the stick there. Thought the straight was long enough, it was not. The main straight's definitely long enough for me to finish whatever it is that I was doing before. Why did I shift up? Dude, there's no need to. There's no fuel in this game. You don't have to shift up. I have to short shift. Maybe sure. The only reason why you should short shift in this game is for like low speed corners like this. But even then, this car has enough traction that I don't have to. At least wait until you get to the straight to take your hand off the stick, dude. There we go. Oh, I got out of front in front of him and in front of the Pennzoil. And I have some oil, dude. And I have an oil change mid race. I'm sure real cars can. The World Endurance Championship cars can definitely have an oil change mid race, or at least a top up. Actually, no top ups, because that would mean they're burning it. Let's go. Ah, I'm gonna run out of road. Yeah. Figured I almost ran out of road there. If I hadn't lifted out of the turn, I would have easily run out of road. Yes, this is why you're short shift. The fact that this car is turbo in this game definitely does not help it with short shifting out of corners. If in not every other game, it's naturally aspirated, as you know, the real car is. So you can easily short shift out of corners. This one, no. This one you have a lot of turbo lag. Did I break her? Making such confusing decisions. With 53 laps into a 60 lap race. Oh, we went past the an hour and a half mark. Any help? Why am I not accelerating? No. This mental lapses. Yes, it's the struggle of a race that lasts an hour and a half. Over that, actually. It's gonna be over 100 minutes. Barely, but it will be. Maybe like 102, 103. Not quite 2 hours as I had predicted before, but... yeah, it's because I'm not using a fat prototype. If I was using the cars that the race suggests, I'd be easily over 2 hours. There's a 2 hour time limited race on the team, I'm pretty sure. I think it's Trial Mountain 2 hours. What a brave turn in there. A bit too brave. Everyone's pitting in way too late. This is usually where you'd win the race. Even if you were like in a close battle, this is usually where the AI just shits itself. What I said earlier, way earlier, that the AI in Gran Turismo, they don't stop thinking about strategies and whatnot. They stop when the tires die. And when the tires die is usually not a very sound strategy if it means you're gonna be stopping with 3 laps to go. Because it means you should have prolonged the stint earlier, so that you could have finished the race on the longer stint instead of coming out with tires dying and losing all track position. Because usually when you pit in this game, you're losing about 20 seconds a lap, a bit less actually. Yeah, 20 seconds. Let's give it just 20 seconds. And if you stop with 3 to go, it means you have to outduel your opponents that haven't pitted by around 7 seconds a lap, which is impossible. Just not possible at all. Just like these minor strategic nuances that the AI can't have because it's not programmed into them to have strategic nuance. The AI in GT4 is equally as guilty of this. They basically only stop once their tires are done. And sometimes will forward that, which can result to some stupidity where the AI pits twice as much as you do across a longer race. I would say they do 3 times as many stops as you do in the 24 hours of Le Mans, but it's been so long since I last did that 24-hour race, I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. Not again, at least. And if I do, by hour 9, I've already lost count of how many stops I've made in relation to the fucking AI. By hour 16, I am no longer awake. It's basically just a zombie driving, constantly repeating the same button inputs from the previous lap until the fuel runs out. Then I have to pit. And by the time hour 24 arrives and the race ends, I've forgotten my name, what I was doing, what language I speak. But yeah, that's just kind of an approximation. But the AI in GT4 is just as guilty of this conundrum. 149 is damn. We're gonna lose all that time. Just finish this race. With 4 to go, the tires are gonna, the front left is gonna start dying sometime soon. So I might as well just not bother. Drive well. Yeah, I did a 149 last lap. Where did I lose all that time? Oh, if I do a 149 this one, I'll know where I lost it. Here. Ever since the oil light came on, I haven't broken the 142 barrier once. Even though I've driven it, I feel like I've reached the same average speeds on corners as before. I guess like the loss of power is more insidious than. Oh wait, that was a 143.0, almost as I said it. I guess the loss of power is far more insidious than you can like notice it in just visual aspects. Don't lose the grip. There we go. P7, and we're past the 100-minute mark. 1 hour and 10 minutes. No, 1 hour and 40 minutes, you idiot. Since when is an hour and 90 minutes? If only 1 hour, an hour were 90 minutes. That shit adds up fast. Oh yeah, I gotta remember that 143 was when I lost the car on this corner entry. It could have been a much better lap had I not died there. Oh, that was a good exit to the final corner. What's my end speed gonna be on this lap? I assume 190. 191 actually. Yeah, I guess the loss of power is more pronounced in like in the middle of the power band as opposed to the top of it. You lose a bunch of acceleration without really noticing it. Probably lose a lot of torque as well, which is understated. But that, regardless of that, we are 2 laps away from finishing the race. I haven't driven long races like this in a while, so it's kind of a relief to know that I still got it. Easy dirt, easy dirt. There we go. Yeah, if the tire held enough for me to be able to pull off that turn in full. I had a good line, and it helped as well. Let's see if I can draft this. Nah, I said let's see if I can draft this guy. Nah, there's no way. I'm just much faster than he is at every aspect. Oh, there we go, a 142.9. Just because I said I couldn't do 42s with the engine ruined. On the next the penultimate lap, on the first to last lap of the stint as well, which is usually where I start dying and losing all my time. And then not on a damaged, like on the suboptimal oil state car as well. These long races are fun. They're more fun like later games in the series where, you know, you don't get this sort of midnight sun effect. Or because these games don't have a passage of time modeled in, because that's extremely resource taxing, and these games are basically pushing the PlayStation 2 to its limits already. Like the PlayStation 3 games had time cycles, so if you drove a 24-hour race into Gran Turismo 5, which was the last game of the series to have one, you would have time passing normally as opposed to 4, in which it was basically bright sunlight all day, every day. which is it's unnerving, especially because the time outside passes as well. Because these aren't like 24-hour races like the 24-hour races in GT6, in which time in the game went by at a rate of an hour per minute. No, these are an hour per hour, so you're actually sitting in front of the console for 24 hours, and if you have like a slim PS2, your console's gonna melt. And having that sort of thing where the track is always bright daylight, yet outside it's been day, it's night, it's been day again. Yeah, that gets to you a little. You can assume. Anyway, final lap. White flag has been taken. And we're gonna go... I don't know what those things are on the left side of that corner. I think they're like map assets that bugged out or something, I can't see. I've always seen those black spots floating outside. I don't know what they are, and I'm not gonna look for them. They're not the Loch Ness Monster in Clown Mountain. I'm not sure if the Loch Ness Monster is in this version of Clown Mountain. I know it is in 4 and 5. The tires, the left. Front left is really begging to be put out of its misery now. But it's okay, because we're about to. Final turn, for the final time. We've done it! How's that? 107 minutes. An hour 47. 400 grand. Thanks! I'm not watching the replay of that. Nope. Not in a million years. Let's see what we get. Oh, please be the formula. Nah, fuck off. Bullshit. I call bullshit. I got the fucking S2000. Oh, I wanted the formula. Yeah, let's check the other events. There's the Laguna Seca 200 miles, the 2-hour Rome, Crown Mountain 2-hour, Route 11. How many laps is this? Oh, it doesn't tell me. The Roadster 4-hour Endurance, I think. I don't know how long this one is. Yeah, this one's the... Oh yeah, and there's the 450 miles Super Speedway, which is super easy. But it's boring as well, because you're just turning in circles. This one you should only do with formulas, I feel like, because it's the Monaco Grand Prix. It would be rude to not. Anyway, let's fix our cars. Let's put some oil in the car. Always do that before you go into a race. I forgot to. So yeah. That was it. That was the 300-kilometer race at Grand Valley Speedway, the Model 787B, which we won on a landslide because I was careless and didn't realize what cars I was going to be racing against. So yeah, I might do a few more of these because the endurance championship in this game is pretty fun. I might just keep doing. I might just try and gold all of them before getting to the super speedway, to the 78 laps of Monaco, to see if I can at least unlock a Formula car and not this. But I guess it's fine. It's a cool looking car and all, but damn, fucking trash for a race that took me an hour and something. Can this even be bought? What's the price? Oh no, it can't be bought because it's Spoon. Spoon doesn't have a shop. Yeah, it's like a special car. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's a unique car, but whatever. I don't feel any more comfortable by that. So yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of the day, and you know, I'll try and be back to do some more of these at other times, because I know these take a lot of time. It's always good for a chit chat and some relaxation because these are not that exciting anyway. Yeah, I will see you next time.